Okay, so what I'm going to be showing in this video is how to keep track of when tasks in this hit certain dates. That way you can keep track of like how long it took something from start to finish. Basically keeping track of number of days. In this, it's a creative production system built in Airtable. You could think of it. Intake form comes in. Here's all my requests. I want digital, social media campaign, video, all that stuff to be submitted. And now I want to start tracking dates. So I'm going to add a new grid view here. We're going to call it dev. I want to hide everything. And then I have status here. So I have status and I want to know when was the last time I modified said status. I want to have a date that is the date started. Anything else? To get this started, let's go with date first submitted. So this is first submitted for review. Date assigned. And one thing I would mention with anything in Airtable, it only works as good as the people. Some of the stuff is unnecessary. Like, do we really want to have people punch a button when they say they're starting a specific task? Maybe not. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes you want to make things simpler rather than trying to collect as much data as possible. But if you are able to get the team aligned on like the value around capturing some of this data, so you can maybe let them know, okay, we'll be able to we'll be able to bring in some contractors to help out with this work if like we notice, okay, a bunch of these tasks come in that normally take like 50% of your workday, and like a bunch of them just came in, the team's going to be over capacity. Using this, you can more easily make the case that like you're going to be able to bring in extra help. So in here, I want to say if it's a certain status, then let's go with date assigned. And then based on the revision number, we can say first submitted for review, second submitted for review, that kind of stuff. We've already built in one automation. So if it's in review, it's going to update it to be a certain status. So let's go with date first submitted for review. Let's duplicate this a few times. Date first, second, and third. Let's only account for 3 rounds of revisions. Okay, so we've already started this other automation. The date last submitted for review, we're going to change that to be dynamic. We're going to use the last modified field in Airtable. Then we're going to add some conditional logic. So if the first submitted for review, I basically want to duplicate this action, drag it in here, and say first submitted for review. Let's go back in here and rename this specifically last modified status. That way it's not tripping up from any other modification. So that's first submitted for review. Second is going to be much easier to do. This is going to be second. And down here, we're going to say second, make this dynamic. Fun fact, you can do Command A to highlight it all, Command C to copy it, Command V to paste it. Last one is third date submitted for review. So third is empty. Third, change this to dynamic. Can I still just paste? Sweet. I can still just paste. And update that. Okay, so that's review. Turned it on. Started. Update. Date. It's going to be when a record matches conditions in the tasks table. Status is in progress. Then let's update the record in the tasks table. Well, not only is the status in progress, actually, let's say is any of. It's either in progress, review, or completed, because maybe it just jumps straight to completed. And date started is empty. I want to update in the tasks table the triggering record, the date started with the last modified status. Now let's do completed and update the date. So now it's only limited to completed, date completed, and let's say date completed, change it to dynamic, just like that. Let's go back up here to look at task assigned, because these two are done. Can I make it work? So DRI is not empty, status is needs assigned. Let's make this one a little bit more complicated, just so we have less automations. So let's say if the status is needs assigned, update the status to be to do and the date assigned to be the last modified status. So as soon as you put a DRI in, if it's needs assigned, it's going to update all of this. Let's duplicate this. So if now instead it is not needs assigned and that field is empty. Now let's update this. Only the date assigned needs to be updated. So let's review all the dates we've done now. So we've done date assigned, date started, 1, 2, 3, last submission for review, and date completed. Do we have last submission for review accounted for? Yes, we do. Okay. So now if I show all of this, let's just like delete all of those and put them back in, and delete all of these and put them back in, and our dates should be populating. So date assigned, all of this popped in. Sweet. Now the only other one to check is review. So you can see that these will go update second and third. I don't have a system right now where it's going to go past second and third. So now the key thing you may want to know is from the date started to the completed date, how many days was that? So there's a formula called date time diff. We're going to go from started to complete. I feel like I always get this backwards. Let's see if we get it right today. How many days was that? So let's go with started. Let's say we started this one on September 1st, finished it on the 19th. Got it wrong. So days from start to finish. Okay, so this looked pretty good now. If you wanted to do any other date calculations similar to this, you could do so. If you wanted to protect yourself from having all of those nans or not a numbers, fun fact, if you didn't know what that meant, not a number, completed, I think it means not a number. That's what I've always read it as. You can say if and, so and will say if both of these dates are filled in, then return that. Sweet. So that's days from start to finish. Now I can build a dashboard of this. So if I come in here and I want to start a new interface, let's look at this interface as a, well, of course I would want to see a dashboard. Pretty much everything in this, well, that I'm starting with is going to be based off the tasks table. So tasks, I guess before that, I would have wanted to start with. Let's see. I would have wanted to start with requests. So like count the total number of requests. Eventually in here, I'm going to say like, let's go with average number of days from start to finish on a task by team member. So let's title this. Okay, so on the x-axis, which is the bottom axis, it's currently the role. Switch that to DRI. On the y-axis, it's currently the task name count. I want to switch this to be that field that I just copied, and I want to say average. And I want to sort not by the x value, but by the y value from ascending to descending. Sweet. Okay, so let's publish this and generate some dummy data and see what this looks like. Okay, so date started, let's say, I don't know a great way to create a bunch of dummy data. Okay, that should give us some dummy data. And let's make some of these more extreme. And then if you want to click into those, if I go back into the editor mode, just click into the graph and click allow, you'll be able to see what makes this stuff up. The only other thing I would do is each of these should only be just where there's one person. Sweet. And then last thing, what are the roles of these people? So some of these are project managers. Is that going to mess with my graph if it's assigned to nobody? Nope. But let's go to my team table and just pick somebody else to assign those. So on average, Casey is that, Avery is that, Dana is that. I didn't like all those decimals. So maybe what I would do is I would come in here to formatting. Well, I guess it's maybe not what I'm looking for. Back in here, on here, if I want to show the record count, how do I get rid of that? I think I need to go edit that field and adjust a few things. Yeah, I think I just need to go edit that field. But this is now showing pretty well. I could do the same thing instead of based on that, based on my asset type. I have like a field that I could look up based on the category of asset. So I'm going to look up the platform. And let's just throw some of these. Just so we get some good data. So average number of days from start to finish, instead of it now being on the axis based on DRI, let's do it based on the platform. Very similar. Okay. So that's how you get started doing this. Let me know if you want a copy of this base in the comments section. Happy to get you a copy of this base. If I get requests for it, I'll pin a comment with a copy of this base. You'll just enter your email. I'll email a link to you. It'll add you as read only, and you'll be able to duplicate this. So next, we're going to be able to create the project management view, which is going to work for creative directors, project managers, and designers to go see their work. So if you're interested in that, keep watching and click the video here in the end screen. It's either going to be in the middle on this side of me or this side of me. Go click that video, and we're going to keep on working through this.